Welcome back to the PlayAbly podcast. I have a question for you. What's more important, making sure customers who have bought from you are satisfied with their purchase or making an emotional connection with them in the process? The answer may be surprising.
Here's something that stopped me in my tracks. 52% more valuable. That's how much more emotionally connected customers are worth compared to satisfied ones. But most brands are still obsessing over checkout funnels instead of creating actual connections.
That's such an eye-opening statistic. And when you really think about it, it makes perfect sense why traditional approaches are falling short.
Well, let me share what's fascinating about this. According to Harvard Business Review, these emotionally connected customers aren't just spending more, they're actually becoming brand advocates and are way less sensitive to price changes.
Hmm. So it's not just about making people happy with the product anymore, is it? There's this whole other layer we need to consider.
Exactly right. And you know what's really interesting? McKinsey just put out this report showing that traditional loyalty programs, the points and discounts approach, they're hitting this wall where people sign up but don't engage.
That makes me think about all those loyalty cards sitting unused in people's wallets. Why do you think these programs are failing to connect?
Well, it comes down to basic psychology. Points are just abstract numbers, but emotions, those create memories that stick. Like, think about your favorite brand experience. I bet it wasn't about getting 500 points in your account.
Oh, that's so true. And it reminds me of what successful marketing teams are doing now. They're moving away from just blasting out discount codes to creating these meaningful moments.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. The dopamine release in our brains actually happens before we get the reward, not after. That's why those countdown timers and coming soon campaigns work so well.
So these brands are literally tapping into our brain chemistry. That's fascinating. What other psychological triggers are they using?
Well, there's this thing called the IKEA effect. People value things more when they help create them. That's why quizzes, voting, and customer co-creation are so powerful. And then there's the power of suspense and uncertainty, which keeps people engaged longer.
Nike really mastered this with their run club, didn't they? Instead of just offering points, they created this whole community experience.
That's actually my favorite example of this principle in action. They understood something fundamental. Humans are wired for participation, not accumulation. When you're part of a running challenge with thousands of others, it creates this sense of belonging that no point system can match.
So, how do brands actually put this into practice? It seems like such a big shift from the traditional approach.
Well, I've been studying this and it breaks down into three key parts. First, create a distinct moment, something with a clear beginning and end. Then add participation, something that requires active engagement. Finally, deliver a meaningful outcome that feels earned.
That makes so much sense. Instead of just having another sale, you're creating these memorable experiences that people want to be part of.
And here's what's really powerful. These experiences compound over time. Each positive interaction builds on the last, creating this rich tapestry of memories and associations with your brand. It's like compound interest for emotional connection.
Though I imagine there must be some challenges in implementing this approach. What are some common pitfalls?
The biggest one is trying to do too much too soon. You don't need to completely overhaul your entire customer experience overnight. Start by identifying one or two key moments in your customer journey where you could add an emotional element.
That's really helpful, practical advice. How do you measure success with something like this?
That's where things get interesting. While traditional metrics like conversion rates still matter, we need to start looking at things like emotional engagement, memory creation, and community participation. Some brands are tracking time spent in experience, depth of participation, and the quality of social sharing.
So it's really about taking a more holistic view of success beyond just sales numbers.
Exactly. And here's my final thought on this. The brands that will win in the future aren't just the ones with the best products or most efficient funnels. They're the ones that understand how to create these emotional connections and turn transactions into memories.
That's such a powerful way to think about it. It's not just about what people buy, but how they feel about the experience of buying it.
And when you get that right, everything else, loyalty, advocacy, lifetime value, naturally follows. It's about playing the long game and building relationships that last. That's it for the PlayAbly podcast. We'll catch you next year.